Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Emma's Folk Global Managers Meetup number 2. It's really great to see so many of you here. My name is Michelle Ronquillo, and I am Emma's event manager. Just a little bit about us. Within Emma, we unite music managers organization across 13 countries, which represent more than 2,000 managers across Europe. We've made it our mission to strengthen European managers globally through our Empower program, which encompasses education, advocacy, networking, and research. If you want to know more about us, or if you want to stay up to date with the upcoming events, make sure to visit our website, follow us on social media, join our WhatsApp group, and sign up to our newsletter. You can find all the links in the chat in a little bit. I will put them there. Within the chat, there is also a general manager's contact list where you can leave your contact details and you can find the details of others. Also, when you log off Zoom at the end of the session, a super brief survey will pop up. Please take a moment to fill it out, as your feedback is super important to us. I'm going to share the agenda of today. Please bear with me a second. So today we are in very good company, and the session is going to be moderated by manager and member of the Emma Folk and Global Managers Steering Committee, Marina Roveta, and you will have time for questions. So please add them in the chat and we'll make sure that they get answered. And towards the second half of the session, there will be the networking breakout rooms, but don't worry about it. We'll walk you through it once we get to this moment. And yeah, without further ado, Marina, over to you.
Hi, thank you all. I'm Marina. As Michelle said, I'm a music manager. I'm based in Madrid, Spain, and I work with Spanish artists. So I've been going through conference lots of years now. So it's a pleasure to have you, Christine, Charlene, and Jennifer. It's great to, It's great to have you here. And I would love to start with a short intro about yourself and your conferences. What do you think it's the unique feature that set your conference apart from other conferences in the industry? Which are the main objectives of your conference, and how does your conference specifically support and promote folk and global musicians? Who wants to start? Maybe you, Jennifer?
Absolutely, happy to start. My name is Jennifer Rowe. I'm the Executive Director of Folk Alliance International. I've been with Folk Alliance for over 10 years, but just was recently promoted into the Executive Director role. And our organization has been around for about 35 years, and we've been hosting one of the main events that we do is an annual conference. We will be in Montreal this upcoming year in February, the 19th through the 23rd. We have about before the pandemic, we had 3,300 people in New Orleans. I don't know if we'll be quite at that number. We're anticipating to be between 25 and 3,000 folks in Montreal next year. Our conference is a showcasing conference. We have about 160 showcases, official showcases, and what makes us probably unique from a lot of other conferences are our private showcases. So we take out some beds, and in guest rooms have about 60 to 90 private showcase rooms that are hosted by individuals or by groups that present music. We are not managing those rooms for the most part. There are over 2,500 performances from Wednesday through Saturday night. So it's a lot of performances. But just like other networking and professional conferences, we also have daytime programming during the day and networking events. But how we work and promote folk music, our organization's mission is to present, promote, and oh goodness, I forgot my third P: present, promote, folk music, and I forgot what the other P is. I'm so sorry about that. So, but it is the function of our organization. We do it through our conference and through regional conferences as well.
Great. Christine, do you want to follow with WOMEX?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Christine Semba. I'm originally from France and based in Berlin, Germany since many years, and since many years with WOMEX. What is particular with WOMEX? Probably the fact that we are a traveling event. We changed a European city from one year to the other. This year we will be in Manchester, end of October. Some can say, is it Europe or not? I don't want to argue about that. We are very happy to go to the UK and we see a very good response. What is special about WOMEX? We cover all the folk roots global music, which can be traditional, but also into the most modern form. We have a part which is also Club Summit, which is also electronic music, but also always with some roots element, local roots element in this electronic music. We have around 3,000 delegates. What we are very proud of, I mean, we're not the biggest conference, but we are most diverse in terms of geographical distribution. We have people from around 100 countries coming together every year. And one particular thing is that we have many people coming from the live sector, but also from recording, distribution, government, institution, and media. Regarding showcases, we have a limited number of showcases. We have around 60 showcases altogether, which makes the selection process very difficult and very hard, but we want to keep it focused. So it is very difficult for artists to be selected. And I guess we will have more questions about the selection process.
We'll go on to the next. And you, what about you, Charlene, and your conference?
Yes, so I am Charlene Sloan. I am one of the founders and directors of Your Roots Are Showing. Even though it's Ireland's folk conference, I am from Boston, but I moved here over to Ireland years ago, and happily, settled. So our conference is the new kid on the block, so to speak. We are just about to have our third year, and last year we showcased around 100 artists, and then we also have a online virtual showcase that runs throughout the conference, and with that we had about 400,000 streams so far, which is great. We're really excited about that. So that was an exciting thing for us. We'll be doing that again this year. It's just another way for the artists to kind of get out there, and for the ones that maybe can't attend, they can do it that way. We also have a music trail that happens on the last day of our conference, which is free to the public, but we take some of the showcase artists and we put them throughout the town to do public performances and kind of give back to the community that way. And then during the day we have a lot of programming in terms of just your music business career, continuing ed, so to speak, that you can do at a conference. And then of course at night it's our showcases. And we do have kind of a broad range of music that we feature, not just folk music, although that's our mandate. We love folk music. We're very interested in the traditional Irish as well. But we had participants from all over the world, and it ranged from folk music to some R&B to just really kind of avant-garde electric music. Like it was great. So that's kind of what we're doing. And I guess what sets us apart, I hate to say that because I think we're all so wonderful in our ways, but I think what kind of sets us apart is partly our location being in Ireland, where we've moved to this great new location. It's right in the mountains. You've got deer everywhere. We're a little bit more like a retreat setting. So maybe we'll be known as the relaxation conference.
That's good because they're not usually very relaxed.
Yes, I'll say controlled relaxation. So
great. So let's dig in a little bit more into the selection process. I don't know, Christine, if you want to tell us a little bit more about the selection process, how the artists are selected, what makes a really standout application for WOMEX, and anything you would like to tell us about this.
Okay. Our selection process goes through a call for proposals, for conferences, showcase, and film program, for the three elements. For the showcases, we have around 1,300, 1,400 proposals every year. And as this is so difficult to select such a tiny number out of it, we don't do it ourselves. We have an independent jury. We select ourselves what we call the
Right.
Seven Samurais, the famous Seven Samurais, because it's a very tough work. And these are all people from the industry, from the community. We try to get people from different geographical region, from different activities, so to make sure we have a balance, a little bit of everything. And yeah, they have a very, very hard task. And my suggestion, we always open end of January, beginning of February until mid-March. So we do the selection early to make sure people have time also to look for funding, to organize tours around their WOMEX dates. And so that's why it's so early. Advices, be quick, be fast in what you do, because when you have to review so many proposals, you cannot be fast. Stand out, be original also, but one of the most important things, and this is one of the mistakes I see sometimes, or very often, it is really explain what you offer. Well, our rule is what you see is what you get, which means sometimes we see people submitting audio files of an artist with a certain group, then share the video with another kind of setting, etc. So the jury gets confused, even if they like the application. In case of doubt, usually then you don't get selected. So it's better to be very clear. And if you have, for example, a trio and a quintet, it's better to make two separate applications and don't think, oh, they will pick up what they like, because it doesn't work this way. So be very clear. Also, one other advice is don't give up. Especially in the case of WOMEX, there are some cases of artists who have submitted 6, 7 times, who have been on standby several times. So it's absolutely not, I was not selected one time, I don't try again, and the jury changes every year. And once you have been selected, when you had the showcases, that's it. So it's a one time.
Sure.
Yes. So you have to be sure, make sure to be very well prepared.
What about Folk Alliance, Jennifer?
Yeah, well, we actually have our applications open right now. So I'm going to put the link in the chat so folks can check that out. Our applications close at the end of this month. We have about, as I mentioned earlier, 160 official showcase spots with about 1,000 folks applying. So it is a juried process similar to WOMEX. I think this process is very healthy for artists to go through, and thinking about it more than an official showcase as the end result, because it is also the people that are reviewing your application. And we've heard from our jurors that it's a discovery process for them as well. So even if those artists don't end up on our official showcase stage, it's still an added benefit to go through that process. When we think of folk music, we have the widest definition of folk music possible. And we have a lot of different genres, or kind of consider a subgenre of folk music, presenting at our conference. So the jury helps us identify what those artists are, or scoring them, and looking at their readiness. Tour readiness is a huge part of it. Are the artists able to take on an opportunity and be successful with that opportunity? That's really important. Uniqueness, artistic ability, those are all things that our jurors are looking at. Make sure that you present or provide a good live video of the artist. Make sure that you're, as Christine said, make sure that you're explaining who you are well, and have a good marketing plan. What's your goal of coming to the showcasing conference. We have over 20 countries represented typically in the official showcases. Our conference itself has about 40 to 50 conference or countries coming to our conference. So it is an international conference. Our staff with the jurors influence really thinks about the curation of our 160 showcases. That's really important because we can't just have a whole bunch of singer-songwriters on the stage. We have to be mindful of who the presenters are that are coming to Folk Alliance. So we need to make sure that we have a variety of artists that are presented. So our jurors may tell us like who they like, but we will pick that from the jury and come up with a curated stages and be really mindful of who we have on our stage. So we're going to have our blues artists, we're going to have bluegrass, we're going to have artists, indigenous artists that are displaying their indigenous craft, or we're going to have singer-songwriters. So all that will be part of our 160 official showcase applications.
Great.
And then did I answer all the questions? Am I missing something?
I think it's good. And what about the selection in showing your roots, Charlene?
Yes, so we have also a juried system. We get our applications in. We started about a month ago, I guess, and they're closing on July 7th. So that is coming up quick for anybody who might want to apply. That's also going to be in the chat. We encourage, I think the best thing from my perspective and from our jurors' perspective is to just make sure your application is as complete as it can be. Don't skip the bio. We really want to hear about who you are, you know, what is important to you, what you're hoping to achieve with the conference. Again, like Jennifer said, the live video is super important. Don't send a, you know, like a video of you in a crowded bar where it's hard for us to hear and, you know, the background. So just be mindful of what live video you send, because that is a really important part for our jurors to be able to see. You know, another thing is you're going through, I would say if you're applying as a solo artist, you know, send us your solo stuff, but not like you with a 6-piece band behind you, because that's, again, it's going to be really hard for the jury to say, yep, you're great, but yeah, we don't know what you sound like. Those are the things that I would like recommend as you're going through, you know, the application process, you know, and then just make sure all your ducks are in a row, you know, before you click send, just make sure you've kind of double checked, everything is great, you know, and then you're off to the races.
Consistent.
Yes.
Everything makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, as you know, today our audience is mainly music managers or self-managed artists. So I will ask one question to each of you to try to give them some tips, because it's not easy, especially on the first times you go to a conference. So let's start with Christine. As a manager, how can we make the most of a showcase? If our artist is showcasing there, or if we are going just as delegates, before going to WOMEX, during WOMEX, and then afterwards, what would be your tips for that?
Many. First, we have an online database called Virtual WOMEX, which is very used around the WOMEX times. So make sure to spend time there, to make research, to share information, to contact people in advance, to identify people you think are interested. But also it is a good way afterwards, all over the year, when you register to WOMEX, you get 1 year of virtual WOMEX. It is a very good database to make your research. So make sure to use it. It is not so active outside of the 3 months around WOMEX, to be very honest, but it is a great database of many industry contacts, and it's a closed database, yeah? So that's one thing. Second, if it's your first time at WOMEX and you happen to be lucky to got your artist selected, or as an artist to be selected, it's good, but it's also challenging because each conference is different. So make very sure to talk with colleagues who have been at WOMEX, who know WOMEX very well, to make sure you really adapt to the conference. Our audience is professional audience, and it's something which is great at WOMEX. People really go for the music. So the showcases are well attended, but make sure that people are aware about your showcase. Make sure that they know how to find you also at the trade fair. For example, if you have a showcase, even if you don't have, try to get into a stand. Many countries or regions have stands, representations, booths. So check if it's possible from your country to be linked to a stand, especially if it's your first time, it will be way easier. Otherwise, you might be a little bit lost to navigate alone through the trade fair, especially if you have a showcase. Third, you will not be able to meet everybody. So make sure also to follow up and to continue discussions. And one thing, if you didn't get selected, don't get obsessed with showcases. There are many other ways also to promote artists, especially at WOMEX. There are many journalists, international journalists. We have many people also from the distribution side, tastemakers. So make sure also to meet all these people, not to concentrate only on the live part. And you can do lots of work on promoting, making the music circulate even without a showcase.
Thank you so much. And Jennifer, how can European artists and managers maximize the participation in and exposure also in Folk Alliance? Since
Yeah.
going the other way on the ocean, it's...
Yeah, well, I definitely would say you need to come with a plan. Know why you're attending the conference and have that in mind before you attend. I would absolutely encourage you to reach out to your export office, to talk to other folks in your community that have attended the conference to get their advice on how to best navigate it. It can be overwhelming if you've never attended a large conference. There are a lot of people, and just like Christine said, you're not going to meet everybody. It's easier to come there with people that you know, so that you can navigate it together. Highly encourage you to attend some pre-conference events and take advantage of the online opportunities to connect with other folks beforehand. But again, like, the key part is coming with a plan, knowing what you want to get out of it, and showing up where you can meet people. That includes going to daytime programming. If you want to meet X person and you know they're on a panel, show up at their panel and talk to them afterwards, and make those connections, and just take advantage of it. It's a big event. It's a lot of stuff that you can do, and you also have to pace yourself, because we're going nonstop, and you're a human, so make sure that you're pacing yourself as well.
Thank you. And Charlene, what would you say are the best strategies to approach delegates, invite them to showcase or arrange meetings, and not being too pushy, but at the same time got their attention and results? What advice would you give to our audience?
Yes, well, like Jen was saying, do your homework ahead of time. Find out who's going to be there, who is the most impactful person to you, before you even set foot at our conference. I always like to say, know your why. Like, why is it that your band is going to go there, or yourself? Like, what is the whole main thing that you want to get out of it? Because it's so varied for so many people. You can hit the delegates with an email prior to. Once you have your showcase time and room, you can say, this is where we're going to be, and kind of do a little bit of a campaign to speak with them, prior to. Bring some materials that you can pass out, that sort of thing. But then also, I think going to the networking, talking, after the workshops, and really just having that one-on-one time, and encourage them to come without giving a sales pitch. I think people they tune out automatically, no matter what your sales pitch is. I think they're just going to go, oh, okay, they've heard a lot of them. So kind of, strike up maybe a connection with them some other way. The best way that I saw, I don't know if it's practical for everybody, but one of the bands that we had last year, they actually had a t-shirt made, and it had a digital board on it, and it just said what their showcase time was, what room it was in, and it just scrolled across them the whole time, like as they were walking around. And so many people just were like gravitated, so, oh my gosh, that's a great idea, and they really talked to them about it. So, think outside the box, I guess, be a little bit creative about how you're gonna get that attention of your showcases on the people.
Something they will remember.
Something they'll remember, yes, but not too much, in a good way.
Well, I don't know, Michelle, how's the time going, but I would like to end with a question to each of you. And I would like to know if you can share like a standout success story from one act that showcase your conferences and that lead to a significant career advance or new opportunities. I don't know if each of you can tell us a little short story about it.
Sure.
I want to start, Charlene.
Okay. So it was I thought a really interesting story that we had a band, Kenny Sharp and Brown Liquor Music. They came over from Nashville, and we're kind of struggling to get a foothold there to really be seen and get help in their industry. And they came to Ireland, of all places, showcased, and we had a lot of people from Nashville with us as panelists and speakers and that sort of thing. And they ended up leaving Ireland with a publicist, with all these amazing people working for them. They've gone ahead, and from then they've won Music City Mayhem in Nashville, which is a really big deal for songwriters. They're booking like crazy. They've just really elevated their career, and it was based on all the people that they met that Your Roots are showing, who just happened to be Nashville people. So I think it's a good idea to keep it in mind that you don't know where you're going to meet these people. So when you're coming, just keep that in mind as well, that you can meet some impactful people from your own city in another country.
Great. Jennifer?
Yeah, well, first I want to say that in general, most artists, Folk Alliance is definitely a community. And sometimes it's the long game of attending over and over and building relationships. Most artists do not come in one time and run away with all these opportunities out of one time. So I want to be careful about saying that. But we have had many artists through the years who have had success by coming and creating this whole system and ecosystem. One artist, I think it was in a recent artist, I think it was in 2022, came, Barnes Brother, they're a Memphis soul group. They had a great manager, but they're having a really difficult time with touring traction. They came to Folk Alliance, and they had one official showcase with one night of private showcases. This is a band that I think they drove in from Memphis the morning and drove home that night because they didn't have the funds to do more than that. But they left Folk Alliance with a summer full of festival bookings, which propelled them into year-long touring. And we see a lot of that, but again, much of it is building relationships throughout the year. Yep, absolutely.
What about WOMEX, Christine?
Yeah, many similarities with Folk Alliance in terms of WOMEX being a community and having a regular presence and building contacts, building trust with different partners is key. There are many artists. I feel always a little bit, I don't know, hesitant to name one because there are many who started their international career at WOMEX or started touring internationally. So difficult to take one story, but maybe just I wrote some names just to show maybe the diversity of style. We had Pulup from Estonia, which is a very funny duo. Ana Carla Massa, with a Cuban cellist based in Spain. Bia Ferreira, with a one-woman show from Brazil. And actually, we have many Brazilian delegates, and practically none of them know her. That was pretty strange. They were extremely
Touring also in
enthusiastic.
the US, I think.
Yes,
now
so
the
yeah, she got big success. Israel Fernandez from Spain with a flamenco on his very own genre. Cozy from Poland, which is a female group, acoustic group. La Perla from Colombia, which is also a female trio. San Salvador from south of France, which is a polyphony from south of France. Sam Lee from the UK exploded at WOMEX. It was really a very successful showcase. Antonio Zambujo from Portugal, Fado. So I can go on and on.
And do you believe, Christine, there's a moment to apply to WOMEX? There's a right time to showcase there. Something might happen in your country and you go there to export, or not really? What do you think regarding timing?
The ideal case is, you start being established in your country, confident, and you want to go international. But it happened sometimes that band applied several times, and was on standby. For example, I have two examples of bands, and I thought in the meantime they've toured a lot, and probably it's not that necessary anymore for them, and they got selected. Okay, it's the jury decision, and actually they did very well. So they were saying it helped them taking another step, and also raising their fees. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, that's difficult to say. The ideal is a little bit, okay, now I'm established at home and I want to go further steps from local to global. But we have many other examples which are different. Very quickly we had the Hangai, which is a band from Chinese Mongolia. They were absolutely not known in China. Nobody was interested, and they had a very successful showcase at WOMEX, so they toured a lot, and then they created all their promotion about the fact they were internationally famous, and then they exploded in China. So any
time is a good time.
Thank you so much. We have some questions in the chat. The first one from Suzanne, wondering if the independent judges of WOMEX change every year, or are the same always, or are they always the same? Sorry.
They change every year.
Thank you. We have some more. As a manager, how can I best support my artist at a showcase? Who would like to?
I think we answered that one already, actually.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the questions that was asked, unless Christine, you want to add something?
Yeah, maybe just adding something. If your artist is not so used to showcase, explain that it's not a proper concert, that the professional audience might be not as reactive as a normal audience. So don't get scared, don't lose your confidence, respect the times. These are kind of things which are not the same between a showcase and a concert, and it's important that artists are briefed on that.
And people is coming in and coming out, and it's not that they didn't like the show, it's just that they need to see.
Exactly, they leave or they talk during the show, but that doesn't mean we don't check what's happening on stage. So that's a different audience. So it's important to know.
That is important to know. And just to
do you cover any artists? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, just to add to that a little bit, I think it's important for managers to kind of brief their artists that you can't come in just for your showcase and expect to have made those connections. You really do need to spend the time throughout the entire event, talking to people at dinner, or, like whatever it is that you can, that is respectful of their time, kind of make those connections so that you can, have that following and that connection going forward.
also like to add, as an artist, especially at our event, and Charlene probably has a lot more artists as well, is the ability or the opportunity to connect with other artists. Take advantage of that. I think a lot of folks at our conference, artists, are inspired by what they're seeing, and just use it as an opportunity for professional growth from a creative side.
Thank you so much. We have another one. Do you cover any artist costs, travel, accommodation, etc.?
We do not. I see shakings of heads from Christine. We do not. We do have scholarship opportunities for first timers. We have opportunities if you want to volunteer, if you can't afford the registration. I know a lot of export offices will support artists to attend official showcasing performances. So look at the funders in your area to see if there's opportunities for funding. It's an investment. You're coming and you're investing, or your artist is investing in their career, and they have to consider it as a business opportunity. It's a business being an artist, and looking at it from that perspective and making sure that it's a wise investment to attend these conferences.
I would agree. We are similar in that we don't offer, direct support, but we do have a bursary that will go to help artists, with registration fees or that sort of thing. We try to keep our registration for our artists very low. And then we will have a, aside from the bursary, we'll have a little bit more supports in terms of, what we can offer on the ground, and the volunteer option as well. If you want to volunteer with us, you have free entry into the conference. So there's some things that you can do, to mitigate your spending. But it is an investment. I totally agree. It's, continuing ed for yourself. It's networking. It's so many things that, you would put in to any career. And I think, really understanding that music is the career. That's your chosen career, and that's your path that you need to continue to feed,
Same with WOMEX regarding financial conditions. So yeah, it's an investment, and this is something to really look at, and not just about, do I have the financial resources, but do I have also the human resources to work around a showcase and make the best out of it. For example, one advice I would give to a manager, artist manager, is don't be the tour manager. You are busy on the trade fair, you are busy on the conference, you're not busy to see if the suitcases arrived, if the check-in at the hotel. You have better things to do at that moment. So yeah, that's really the manager at this moment should be, all the things around the artist, if possible, should be left to the artist, and the manager should be really spending his or her time on the event.
Thank you very, very much, Jennifer, Charlene, Christine, and Marina.
Thank you all for being here.
Yes, we're going to open the rooms for the networking breakout rooms. We invite you all to stay, and I'm going to stop recording now.